So right now it would appear that freedom is under attack, and you can't even go to a restaurant and order a burger without being put behind literally the Iron Curtain. This video I'm going to share with you a story that happened just recently, and yes, it was happening behind the Iron Curtain.
Be who you want to be in freedom and joy.
Hey there, it's Michael Creasy here, roving reporter with Druthers News. And if you haven't done so already, please run over to the druthers.net site, subscribe to our newspaper. That's how we survive. It's all by donations. And please give this video a like and share. That's how we beat the big corporate logarithms and get noticed on Facebook, YouTube, and all the other platforms. So give us a like and comment. Now, with me, I have the lovely and talented Michelle Doherty. And what a story she has to tell. She was at a Wendy's ordering a burger. You figure, how complicated is that? And literally, like I said in the intro, the Iron Curtain came down. Michelle, take it away. What happened?
So a group of 6 of us, we had just come home from the Toronto rally. We were coming home from the Toronto rally, the Worldwide Freedom Rally. We hadn't eaten all day because it was a wonderful experience to be a part of. I would do it again in a heartbeat. But we walked literally for 3 hours. And so we were all pretty hungry because we hadn't eaten since breakfast, because it started at noon and it went till about 5 in the afternoon.
And there was about 25,000 people at that one in Toronto.
Yes, it was absolutely huge. Yeah, it was really a phenomenal thing to be a part of. So we went home on the way from Toronto to Orangeville, and so we decided to eat outside of the city because it's really busy in the city. And being from Bruce County, I'm not a huge fan of driving in the city. Yeah. So we stopped in Orangeville, thinking that Wendy's would be a good spot to sit and eat. And so we went into the Wendy's in Orangeville. And what happened next was we obviously all went to the bathroom because we needed to wash our hands. And so when we came into the restaurant, the girl serving at the counter said, "Do you have a mask?" So there were 3 of us wearing masks and 3 of us not. I said, "No, we're medically exempt," and carried on into the bathroom. And she said, "Well, it's our policy at Wendy's that it doesn't matter what you have. It doesn't matter if you have a medical exemption or whatever it should be. We don't serve anybody without masks."
So when they say policy, is just her making it up herself, or is it actually a policy has to be something that's posted on a wall for people to see?
They did have it posted on the door.
Okay. And did they have, I know it sounds like I'm interrogating you here, but here in Bruce County, they've got those signs that say there are exemptions, and it's usually in fine print, bottom paragraph. Did they have anything like that there?
You know what? I didn't even take notice because I don't usually have a problem when I'm going into places without a mask. They usually ask me, and I usually say I'm medically exempt, and they don't give me a hassle because they know that they have to respect the law.
Right.
So, I didn't actually, I knew that there was a sign and I looked at it, but I only glanced at it because...
Okay. Let's move on, because, that part's irrelevant, because you've got your rights, and even, there are exemptions.
Right.
And it's not just medical exemptions. There are exemptions under your Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Look them up, because you should be able to articulate these. So you're at the counter, you order food, you try to order food, but this kid, and I'm guessing it's like a
She's
kid.
about a 20-year-old. Yeah.
All right. And she's giving you Royal Wendy attitude.
Yes, she is.
Okay.
And so she said to me, if my general manager were here, she would kick you out too. She does it all the time. So I said, okay, well, you can give her a call, or I can call her. Give me the phone and I will call her myself. And she said, obviously she wouldn't give me the phone to call her general manager. She said she would call her. So she left and went into the back and talked to her manager. I could hear her talking on the phone. And these other 2 boys that were about 17 or 18 came up to the front that were cooking in the back, or I assume they were cooking because they were in the back when we arrived. They came up and they decided that they wanted to start mocking me. So you can't really hear that piece on the video, and they just were they didn't say anything super controversial, but they were just chirping me. Yeah. Knowing that they were getting under my skin.
So you got a couple, so they're teenagers, okay, we'll grant them that, but the point is they're employees. So you've got a couple employees that are giving you a hard time and being disrespectful.
Right.
Wow, cool, Wendy's customer service. I wonder if that's in the manual.
So there was zero need for them to come and interject themselves into the scenario. They decided to come up and be a part of it, and they could have stayed in the back and minded their own business, but they chose not to. So they started escalating the situation. So everything was calm and cool. She said she was going to go talk to her general manager. These boys came up and started chirping me. The lady at the serving window came over, and she was a little bit older. She was about, we'll say, in her mid-40s. I'm not exactly sure what her role was, if she was the night manager or what her exact title was. None of them would give me their names or their titles. I asked them, and they refused. Said they didn't have to give me any of that information. And so what happened then was she said that I needed to leave the premises, and I said, well, why wouldn't you? I said, you can call the police, because she said she was going to call the police.
So
and
they
I said,
threatened to call the police to get you
They did.
out. Okay.
They threatened to call the police, and I said, you can go ahead and call the police. I have no problem with that. I know my rights. And so I said, I can stay here all night if you want. And she said, you can stay here all night, but I'm not going to serve you. And I said, so did you just hear yourself? You would let me stay inside your building all night, and you have a problem with me not wearing a mask, but you won't serve me to just get me off of your property. And she said, well, we have curbside pickup, so you can go and you can go through the drive-thru. And I said, but there's 6 people, and I have the right to come in here, just like anybody else, to order my food, because I don't want to go through the drive-thru and wait for 6 people to order their food.
You know, to me, this is nuts, because you mentioned you've got your party of 6, you've got people that are wearing masks. You would think at least she could say respectfully, hey, I'll tell you what if you back away from the counter, tell your friends what you want, and we'll be happy to serve them, and take your stuff and be on the way.
Right.
But this seems like it's a power trip, and I'm seeing this, I don't want to say more and more, but there are certain businesses that are reworking the law, and they're forming their own policies, and we've got to stop this. And the only way to stop this is what Michelle's doing. You got to put your foot down and say enough's enough. And you don't strike me as somebody that's going to submissively roll over on your back, exposing your belly, and say no. So let's jump to the end of this part. They've said no. You said no, I'm not leaving, but ultimately you did, because there's no point staying there.
Right.
You go home, you're infuriated. What happens next?
Well, to add into that, they did, the one teenage boy that came up and chirped at me, he hopped up on the counter with his dirty shoes, might I add,
okay,
and pulled the gate down. So that was Michael's metaphor of the Iron Curtain. He pulled the gate down in my face and said, I'm pulling this down, and then proceeded to get off the counter and did not wipe the counter back down after he had his disgusting shoes on the counter of the serving food area.
Hey, Wendy's, I got to give you another high five for not only great, outstanding customer service, but cleanliness and sanitation. Way to go. Okay, keep going.
So I go home and I got in touch with corporate. I called them Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday and did not hear a thing back from, they told me the district manager was going to call me and get in touch. I never heard anything from the district manager. So I called the Orangeville restaurant myself, wanting to talk to a manager to see what they would say, because I hadn't actually done that. I'd only called corporate. What happened next was I called yesterday morning. The manager answered, and the manager said to me, oh, we already heard all about your video. And I said, oh, really? And she said, yep, you can talk to my general manager. So then she gave me to the general manager, and the general manager passed me off to the district manager. So the district manager essentially was incredibly rude. She said to me that her staff did all the right things. They did absolutely nothing wrong. I told her if they had called and apologized to me personally, I wouldn't release the video onto social media. She absolutely refused and said they would not be doing anything of the sort because they did nothing wrong, and that they were a private corporation. And I said, you're absolutely not a private corporation. You have a business license. And when you have a business license, that means you're open to the public and you serve them. And that means you invite people onto your property, and you have to follow the law. And the law says you have to honor mask exemptions. And she did not. She just kept saying, we're a private corporation. We're a private corporation. That's what my higher ups told me to say. And I just said, well, unfortunately for you, you're going to get a rude wake up call. And then from there, I did end up calling corporate again, and I'm still in talks as to what's going to happen with them.
Okay, so quick review. Freedom Rally Toronto, stop in Wendy's in Orangeville. Wendy's Orangeville, if you guys want to stop by. That's probably their customer service calling right now in the background. From there, you try to order, they say no. You get mocked by little kiddies, 17-year-olds. You're told that, hey, you know, we're a corporate entity, even though I think they're a publicly traded company. They make up their own rules and policies as they go along. They don't want to order but they stopped. Okay, they don't want to honor the Charter rights and freedoms. It just, what fascinates me is here in West Grey, where we are, there's certain grocery stores, like one, for example, I don't want to say No Frills, there's another one, Food Basics.
Yes.
The manager's awesome, and I spoke with him. And part of what we're doing here in West Grey is we make a point of honoring the businesses that are being cooperative, because they're in a
100%.
tough place.
Yeah.
They're trying to take care of all the Karens on one side. If your name is Karen, sorry, but if you're one of the wacko Karens, I'm not sorry. I'm sorry for you. And they're obviously trying to accommodate people that can't wear a mask. So there's this balance. And when I spoke to the manager, I actually went there with a box of donuts. Go figure, I'm going to a grocery store with a box of donuts. But I wanted to show some kind of token sign that we appreciate what you're doing. I thought he was going to cry, because they're so used to all the negativity that comes across that it's very rare that somebody will take the moment to say thank you for what you do. And in this case, it's like Wendy's has tried to do the complete opposite. If there was a manual on everything you could do wrong, they would have basically written that manual. So what happens next?
I guess we'll see.
Okay.
Because like corporate is, I'm still in the works with corporate to see what's going to happen next. They don't want to take any ownership. They don't want to take any responsibility for their piece. And like I said, all they had to do, all I asked essentially was that they call and personally apologize for the situation, what happened. And they absolutely refused.
Yeah, I look at it from a store's perspective. Everybody makes mistakes, but this is a perfect learning opportunity for the staff to learn something, management to learn something, and to retain a happy customer. So for every customer you tick off, they're going to tell 100, in this case, this video probably hit 40,000 people what you did wrong. So Wendy's, once again, shame on you. But getting back to a happy note, druthers.net. Go to our website, please, and subscribe to our humble little newspaper. If you don't buy the paper, this is how we make our I don't want to say money. We're not a money-making operation. But subscribe at least to our channel here. Give us a like and share the video. And once again, Michelle, thanks,
Michael.
being, I'm going to say, my hero of the day for standing up for your rights. Because here's the thing, and I get asked this all the time, and this is kind of how I'm signing off videos now. When will this all go away? And the simple answer is it will not go away until we all stand up together and say
so true.
Enough.
Yep.
Be who you wanna be in freedom and